They say every mask hides a story. But in the winding, waterlogged alleys of Venice, there was one shop where the masks didn't just hide your face. They replaced it. My name is Gianni De Luca, and this is the story of the man who sold me my last face. It all started one rainy afternoon in October. The tourists had fled the grand squares, leaving behind puddles that reflected the gray sky like shattered mirrors. I was lost, wandering through a labyrinth of narrow streets, just trying to find a shortcut back to my hotel. And that's when I saw it, a small, dark wooden sign swinging in the wind. Il Mascheraio, the mask maker. The shop felt ancient. The air was thick with the scent of dust and old wood. Hundreds of masks stared down from the walls, their painted eyes following me in the flickering candlelight. There were carnival masks, theatrical masks, faces of angels and faces of demons. But one mask sat all by itself, enshrined in a glass case. It was perfectly smooth, painted a stark, polished ivory, its eyes hollow and seemingly endless. An old man emerged from the shadows behind the counter. His face was like wax left too long in the sun, soft, melting, and tired. He looked up, his gaze heavy. "Looking for something to hide behind?" he asked, his voice a low rasp. I managed a small laugh. "Just a souvenir. Something to remember Venice by." He nodded slowly, a faint knowing smile playing on his lips. But souvenirs remember you, long after you forget them." With a creak, he unlocked the glass case. "This one," he said, lifting the ivory mask with a reverence that made my skin crawl. "This one fits anyone who's lost themselves." I reached out to touch it. It was cold, impossibly cold, colder than porcelain, colder than stone. "How much?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. He smiled, and it wasn't a comforting sight. "It's already been paid for." I frowned, confused. "By who?" He leaned forward, his breath smelling of earth and decay. "By the man you were before today." I didn't understand, but there was a finality in his tone that silenced any further questions. He wrapped the mask carefully in black paper, a stark contrast to the brilliant white, and placed it inside a simple box. As I turned to leave, his whisper followed me out the door. "Don't wear it after midnight, and whatever you do, don't look in the mirror while you do." Back in my hotel room, the box sat on the bed, daring me. I couldn't stop staring at it. Finally, I gave in. The mask was flawless, almost otherworldly. There were no strings, no straps, no visible seams. It was just a perfect white face waiting for a soul. Of course, at the stroke of midnight, I broke his rules. I had to know. I pressed the mask to my face. It fit like a second skin. An initial shock of cold, then a creeping warmth, as if it was breathing with me, becoming part of me. I walked to the bathroom mirror, my heart hammering against my ribs. I looked up. The mask had vanished, but the face looking back wasn't mine. It was younger, sharper. The eyes were colder, and the mouth was curled into a cruel smile that I didn't make. Panic seized me. I tore at my face, my fingers scrabbling for an edge, a seam, anything, but it wouldn't move. My fingers just slid over smooth, unfamiliar skin. I tried to scream, but the sound was muffled, distant, like someone else was using my mouth. And then, darkness. I woke up the next morning, tangled in the sheets of my hotel bed. My heart was still pounding. I rushed to the mirror. My own reflection stared back, tired and bewildered, but it was me. There was no mask, no box. It must have been a dream. A nightmare brought on by the strange old city. That's what I told myself right up until I went to check out. The clerk at the front desk smiled politely. "Good morning, Signor Bianchi. Did you enjoy your stay?" I froze. Bianchi. That wasn't my name. My eyes fell to the counter. My passport was lying there, open. Except the photo was different. The man in the picture was the man from the mirror. I didn't even grab my bags. I ran. I ran back through the streets, my mind reeling, searching for that little alley, that swinging sign. But it was gone. A blank brick wall stood where the door should have been. Desperate, I pressed my hands against the cold bricks, whispering, "Please, please let me in." The wall was warm to the touch. And then, it moved. A hidden panel slid open with a grinding sound, revealing the shop. It was the same, yet horrifyingly different. The walls were still filled with masks, but now, they looked human. Too human. Their eyes glistened with a wet sheen, as if they were real. Some were frozen in smiles, others in tears, and some just looked terrified. And then hanging amongst them I saw it, my own face captured in plaster, expressionless and empty. The mask maker appeared behind me, as silent as a ghost. "You wore it," he stated, not a question. I could only nod, my throat tight. "Then you've seen him." "Who?" I choked out. He gestured to the gallery of faces around us. "Everyone who puts one on sees him, the version of themselves that doesn't want to leave." He took a step closer, his waxy face inches from mine. "You're lucky. You woke up in time. Most don't." My mind reeled. "What are you doing to them?" I whispered, looking at the silent, watching faces. "Nothing they didn't ask for," he said softly. "Every soul wants a new start. A better skin. I just make it possible." I backed away toward the opening. "I'm leaving." He smiled, a sad, final smile. "You already did." I burst out into the street, into the blinding daylight and the noise of the crowds. I staggered to the nearest mirror I could find, the large window of a cafe. The reflection was wrong again. It wasn't the mask's face, but it wasn't mine either. It was something in between, unfinished, shifting. My hands shook as I felt my own skin tightening, reshaping itself, and then I saw him, standing right behind me in the reflection, the man from the mirror, my other self. He smiled, that cold, cruel smile. "You left me in there too long," his reflection said, the voice echoing in my head. He reached for my face in the glass. "Let me finish the job." Instinct took over. I stumbled back, my hand closing around a sharp shard of broken glass on the pavement. I spun around and swung, shattering the cafe window. The reflection exploded into 1,000 pieces, and so did he. He was gone. When I dared to look again, the fractured glass showed only my own face, pale, cracked, and hollow. That night, I left Venice. I didn't pack, I didn't sleep. I just ran until the city was a hazy dream behind me. But sometimes, even now, when I pass a dark shop window or catch my reflection in a darkened screen, I see him, standing just behind the glass, waiting. Patient, wearing my old face. They say every mask hides a story, but some masks don't hide you at all. They replace you. And somewhere in the watery heart of Venice, there's still a shop with a single ivory mask in a glass case, waiting for its next face to fit. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the shadows. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the dark corners of the world. Stay safe out there.